Oh, intro now. Hello, it's me. It's Amy. On a rare occasion, I'm on here because things are crazy in the world right now. Crazier than even they usually are, which things are pretty crazy in the last year. So saying they're crazy means they're really, really, really crazy, and they are. So I made a video this morning talking about it, and I know you guys are all feeling the same way. And shock. It's shock to see. Let me turn this down. I have this old radio station on. Well, if it's loud, let me know. I can't tell on my end if it's loud. Um, okay, topic at hand. 45 has talked about building this ballroom, and that's hideous enough on its own. Independently placed, huge, monstrous building that's like Mar-a-Lago, right? He wants everything to look just like Mar-a-Lago. And we're like, well, that's going to be horrible and disgusting and gaudy and make the White House look cheap because the White House is not a resort. It's the people's house, and it's for all of us to, keep our country safe and restore and preserve our history and our Constitution. And it's supposed to be a place of honor and celebration, Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving, the turkey thing, where they pardon the turkey, and then the Easter egg hunt thing, and everything, press pool, what have you. But it's a place of joy and dignity, and Kennedy, Clinton, Obama, um, all presidents and first ladies, dignitaries, etc. And now a huge ballroom, like it's a resort. It's not a resort. It's not supposed to be a palace. It's not supposed to be a resort. It's supposed to be the White House. And America is different for a reason. We're not perfect, but every country has its different thing, right? Well, it's just unfathomable. You talk about it, it's like I can't believe I'm having to talk about this. So he said independent money. Of course, where is he getting all this money? I have my own suspicions of where 45 is getting all this money, and think of his connect. He's for entertainment purposes only. He does a lot of quid pro quo, right? He has all his hands in the countries we shouldn't be dealing with, that we're supposed to be strong arming, and like the UAE, Qatar, um, the Russia, lots of different places that we, and now Israel. And I don't blame Israel for their troubles at the moment against Gaza. It's no, I'm not going to go into all that. Anyway, so I feel like the Qatar probably is a fund 45. But anyway, I feel like ever since Elon got into used Doge and got into all our private systems, I feel like that's probably a way that 45 is getting a lot of money and our federal taxes and the Bitcoin, etc., and people donating money, etc. Anyway, yeah, he says he's going to pay for it. He's not going to pay for it. We all know 45 is not going to pay for the ballroom. We know that. He's definitely not going to pay for the ballroom. And has he ever? People in New York are like, "We told you, we told you." He does these things and then he doesn't pay for it. So most likely he's not going to pay a dime. He'll hire the contractors, but they're not going to get paid this money. It wouldn't cost $2 million anywhere, or $200 million. But yeah, he's not going to pay them. But how do you feel? Like I know how I feel about it, but how do you guys feel about this whole destruction of the White House? I mean, it was like jaw on floor. I literally opened up the internet and saw the pictures of the East Wing being destroyed, and I just thought, what? This can't be happening. This surely cannot be happening. And videos, pictures, and then you see the comparison of what it used to look like and what's happened to it, and you say, no, that's historical. That's where they have Christmas. That's where they do you see Obama's walk down that highway in contemplation of life and saving our country from entities. And just, I don't know. There's no words. I have no words. It's upsetting. So, and it's still happening. What's going on? And here's the thing. They asked, um, was he supposed to get approval for this? Was he supposed to get congressional approval and approval from zoning people and all these things? Yes, he was supposed to. This is why I think he's using the shutdown for his own personal um, selfishness to take all the money away, the rest of the money that he could possibly take, like he just canceled NASA just out of nowhere. Take that money, take all the money out of SNAP. He wants to take all the money out of healthcare, the Medicaid. We talk about Medicaid and Medicare again today. Just take all the money, and it's like he can't help it. But that's why you're supposed to have people around him to tell him, no, no, you can't do that. And there's nobody around him to tell him no. That's the real problem. Nobody's telling him no. So somebody said something today like, "Do you think that he'll blow?" And it's like, yeah, he'll do whatever because he's being allowed to do whatever. This is pretty much a visual of how he works: is to do whatever he wants, to take one of the most precious objects in America and destroy it. That's so narc. With the marches, the No Kings March, you realize, oh, there's going to be retaliation, and there was. And this is a huge narcissistic uh, punishment from 45 because we had the No Kings March. So what do we do about it? What's going to happen? Well, at some point, people are going to have to tell him no. But guess what? They just said the Supreme Court doesn't have any money. So how are they going to tell them no when they can't even work? Um, I don't know. I'm just on here to not give predictions, but just talk with you guys about how, yeah, it's upsetting. And this is what narcissists do. This is why he should have never been allowed on the ballot. Never let an insurrectionist on the ballot. Because look at this destruction. Look at the lack of respect for our country and our history, our rules, our laws, our regulations. I mean, just even the little window panes, that those are historical and should be preserved. He just has bulldozers ripping them out and dumping them on the ground. It looked like 9/11. That's what it looks like. It looks like 9/11. Such a lack of respect for our country. Well, it's probably also to offset the Virginia. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but one of the Epstein's victims who died, she died mysteriously. Her book came out today, and it's pretty damning. It's pretty horrifying. So I'm not going to read it, but I believe her, and I'm sure a lot of this is to distract from that. I'm sure. So, anyway, nobody's here, so I can't take questions or any of that if nobody's here. So what will I say? Okay, how do I feel? I'll tune in here and tell you what I think is going to happen with 45. Well, I feel that he's lost a lot of respect. I feel that a lot of people in his private funded military, put it at that, and our military and generals, etc., law, judges, people all over the country are now just kind of baffled and thinking, I can't believe he did that. He has no respect, does he? He has no respect. Yes, there's still the cult members who will let him do anything, literally anything. But I really feel like a lot of people felt this was just an act of pure arrogance and disrespect for the country. And they can't get over you can say things, you can think things and believe in certain things, but you can't hide how you feel. And when you feel something inside like disgust and when when someone loses face in your eyes, it takes a lot to get that back. And I feel like that's a visceral thing where people, even if they are MAGA and diehard Republicans, I really feel like there's a feeling inside of them today of losing respect for 45 because of the way that he's treating the visual of our country. Um, Jackie Kennedy restored the White House because it had been sort of left to as almost like an army station, like a base station for presidents. I mean, like, didn't Eisenhower live in Missouri? Sure, no, that was true. I don't know. But anyway, when Kennedy became president, Jackie Kennedy took it upon herself not to tear down the White House, but to restore it to its original. Like, she brought back artifacts and things like that, pictures, and restored it, decorated it, and it was a beautiful thing because it showed respect. It showed respect for the White House. It showed respect for our country and the taxpayers because it's the people's house. It was like a gift to us of, look, I brought this back into its original glory for you, for the people. Now we know that the ballroom is not for us, right? We all know that. The ballroom is for him to do more quid pro quo and to show people and to have his plastic surgery enhanced hose, sorry, all over, just like the South Park episode where everybody was like in bikinis. I mean, the ballroom is going to be a place of like a dance, Satan's den, a quid pro quo. And we know that it's not for us. We know that ballroom is not for us. And it's so undignified, isn't it? It's like the most undignified thing. It's not like a beautiful, like the rose garden. Why was the rose garden important? First of all, why was it important? Because it was symbolic of diversity, our history. Like, gardens are representative of growth and manifesting something, a seed, and having it grow and having it in the garden of history, in the garden of unity, in the garden of civil rights, in the garden of all of us, of America, of survival. I can't find words. But you know what I'm trying to talk about? Diversity, growth, beauty, hope, peace. A garden is a place of peace and contemplation. And that's what he, it's so interesting that he raised all that down and covered it in concrete so that it was forever destroyed, right? That he could concrete on this would be forever destroyed. And then, and now this, the ballroom is to block out. See, it's almost like some subconscious thing in him. I don't really want to be president. I don't really want to get any work done. I just want to block all that out with this huge ballroom and be a king who sits around in the ballroom. That's really what it is. I'm disgusted. But you know, I'm not going to let it erase the wonderful sight and feeling I had when I, on Saturday, at the No Patriarchs gathering, how big that was. How what I felt, the unity of everyone coming together, old people, young people, everyone, different ethnicities, gender, people in wheelchairs, people in walkers, canes. We were all together walking up the hillside. We joined together to stand together and stand against this terrorism of this hate king and to be there for each other. That's what America is. It's the unity of us coming together. You can't destroy that. You can't destroy what we did. I'm sure it was more than 8 million people on Saturday. I'm sure of it. And it was all around the world. So you're adding on to 8 million with everyone around the world. So anyway, will I post this? Nobody's here. Clearly, I have no audience anymore. That's fine. So, just thought I would come on and talk. What do I think is going to happen? Well, okay. So I think that what he did probably unearthed a whole bunch of asbestos and mold and things like that. Things that were in place that weren't supposed to be displaced. They were supposed to be dealt with in a sensible, proper, ethical manner. And he just unearthed a whole bunch of asbestos, and that's not going to be good for him or for anyone. And also, I think that it probably is going to mess with the structure of the entire place. And he's going to, well, not be able to fix that. And his legacy is of destruction. You just planted the image in everyone's minds, and his presidency is that of destruction, not growth like a rose garden, but destruction. And that's it. So nobody's really here. I don't have any questions, so I'm going to leave. My channel's pretty dead. So I just came on real quick to say this, and thanks for being here. Bye.